Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Modern and Modest. With us today we have Aishah Simji from Doha Modest Wear. Assalamu alaikum Aishah, and welcome to Modern and Modest.
Wa alaikum salam. Jazakallah so much for having me, Noshina. I'm truly humbled and ecstatic and happy to be here today. Alhamdulillah.
So Aishah, we know that every woman loves being fashionable, but in saying fashionable, we want to be able to maintain modesty. And I know that we have the expert when it comes to fashion and modesty and putting the two together. So Aishah, before we get to discuss more about how you've come up with this combination of having fashion and modesty, goes very much with our title, Modern and Modest.
Yes.
But tell our viewers more about who Aishah Simji is, just a little background about yourself.
Okay, I started many years ago when I was in my early 20s. I was actually a beauty therapist then. And back then, I was more of a very fashionable, stylish, young, feisty girl, and just wanted to conquer the world. And I went on to become a beauty therapist, to work, and I was in Gauteng at the time, Johannesburg. And I was working as a beauty therapist, and my family at the time said to me, they all want to go for Hajj. And I just thought about it now when I was just talking to you, how did Doha, or how did I come into the clothing industry? And at that time, I had nothing to do with the clothing industry. I was a beauty therapist. And when they told me, we're going for Hajj, we want you to come, I said, I don't think I'm ready at this time. But I went home that night. I had a dream, I had a feeling. I went back to work and I asked my boss at the time, please, may I have so many weeks off? And he said, no, I'm sorry, I cannot give you that time now. It's not your time for off. So I was quite disheartened, went home, thought about it. That feeling just grew and grew. And I said, no, man, I have to go for Hajj. And that's when I went back to work and I asked him for the second time, can I please take off? And he says, no. And I think that was a turning point, not only my Islamic side, my entire life, because I'd made that decision there and then that I'm going to go for Hajj. So I said, if you're not going to give me off, I'm going to have to resign. And that was my turning point. Alhamdulillah, I performed my Hajj in my early 20s. Thereafter, I moved back to Durban to be with my family. And my brother at the time had a manufacturing business, and he was into clothing, and something I knew nothing about. So I decided to learn a bit, because I was a type of person like yourself. You know, as we were chatting, we are jack of all trades. We like to do numerous different things. Our minds are always active. And I said, you know what, let me learn something new, a new trade. And it was something exciting, enthralling for me. And I said, okay, I'm going to go with it. I joined him in his business, and I learned everything you need to know about manufacturing, you know, from pattern making up to clothing manufacturing, stitching, sewing, everything. And alhamdulillah, it's 20 years gone now. I think that was my calling, my passion. I'm not a beauty therapist anymore. I'm now into manufacturing, and I'm here dressing our Muslim women, and it just took off from there, and it hasn't stopped ever since.
Well, alhamdulillah, that was such an inspiring story. And of course, Allah has a better plan in store for us. And who would have thought 20 years back, or you would never have expected to be so involved in the fashion industry and getting our women to look good and yet be modest at the same time. So we still have the fashionable side of Aishah Simji put together this amazing collection. So Aishah, just a little bit more about what does it take to come up with a range? I know that your brand is pretty much proudly South African, which is fantastic for a female entrepreneur like yourself. But tell us what it takes to actually start out with an idea or a style of a garment. What goes into that?
I would say the idea is the easiest part of it. You can think up something and say, I like that and I want to make that. That's the easiest. The toughest job is thereafter to come, which is putting that idea into perspective, where you have to make a pattern, you have to have it marked, have it sample made, check, go back and see whether it's the right fit, and sourcing fabrics. All that takes up time, that's all effort, and then the cutting and the stitching, and then the final product, which is the garment that our consumers pick up from the shelf, which they don't even know what goes into sewing something. Yeah.
So let's chat more about modest fashion. We find that modest fashion isn't just something that's relative or applicable to our Muslims. We find that modest fashion is trending at the moment. We find that in retail stores, garments are getting longer, sleeves are getting longer, garments are not as tight-fitting as it used to be before. I think women generally now prefer something loose that's less revealing. Surely that has been quite an inspiration to you, or would you say that's been a challenge for you?
I wouldn't say a challenge, but inspiration definitely. Globally, whether it is Muslim or non-Muslim people, they are all moving towards dressing in more comfortable clothing with keeping with style. So whether it's a woman that is who feels a bit overweight and wants to cover up, she can still look beautiful. And that's where they are wearing more modest clothing. And you even find the European ladies in America and all over, they're wearing more longer tops. They're dressing modestly, which for us is something that we have to do. But for them, when they see our clothing, they're quite excited. I find ladies that love wearing abayas, even within our South African women that are not Muslim. They love to come and buy abayas, and they even ask us, make something longer, make something that's more comfortable for us. And we take it from there and we see what they like, what's in style, what's trending. And yeah, that's what we make for them.
I was just about to ask you, with your brand, do you specifically make up your typical abaya for our Muslim women? Or do you find that your brand caters more for just trendy, modest fashion where you make up maybe long dresses or loose flowing abayas? Tell us more about your collection.
Okay, I would say trendy, modest abayas or modest fashion. That's where we are going. There are a lot of our younger generation who are still very modern, like what we were back then with the jeans and the t-shirt. And by us making a throw, it's something that complements that, and they don't want to wear an abaya, they put on a throw. It makes them, it completes them. And a modest wear is something that should feel like a second skin to you. It should feel something comfortable. And you can do that by wearing something fashionable and trendy. So that's where we're going right now, yeah.
I suppose with where fashion and trend is heading, our Muslims don't have the challenge of feeling like they don't fit in, whether it's in a corporate environment or whether it's just fetching your kids from school. You feel comfortable in your dress because it's become such a fashion statement right now.
Yes.
Where you even find our non-Muslim women that are wearing turbans or wearing a neck scarf and throwing it over. So it's not odd to see someone now with a headscarf or a hijab, or like it may have been years ago. And I also think people are heading more into color. Would you say that you get quite a demand for color as opposed to black?
Oh, definitely. If you look behind me, you have an orange abaya. I mean, we have to keep up with fashion all the time, whether it's following the colors of the catwalk in Milan or just the local South African women who prefer black. We have to accommodate everybody. So it's not only me, it's all designers out there have to look at what the people want at the time. Not exactly what they want to make for them, but what you and I would like to wear. So it's quite a challenge where we have to look at what's in style and what people want. Like in South Africa, we dress very differently from different countries. If you go to Turkey, in Dubai, they like to wear the black robes, the black abayas. Here I see the South African women are turning more to color. They're turning, before you wouldn't hear of them wearing turbans. Now every second head you see they have a turban. And it's our non-Muslim sisters as well that are following suit.
What would be very interesting for me and the viewers is, where do you get this creative mind from? Where does the creativity stem from?
Okay, so I've been a beautician, I've been a florist, I do decor, so it's basically I have multi-talents in that, and I've been inspired through all this and put that into my the clothing side, the fashion side of it, and that's where Doha has come out now. Yeah?
Okay, so we can definitely understand why you mentioned earlier that you are a jack of all trades.
Yes.
I mean, from beauty therapy to decor and so forth. So Aishah, my next question to you would be, you mentioned now that as women in South Africa, we dress differently to women in the UAE or in Turkey and so forth. But remember, at the end of it, we still have to maintain what is trending in fashion at the moment. So we'll break for an ad, and when we get back, you can give us some input or insight on what does it take to actually keep up with what's trending at the moment. Right. So after the ad break, we'll be chatting more to Aishah Samji from the Doha Collection.
بديع الزمان اے رسول امی خاتم المرسلی تجھ سا کوئی نہیں تجھ سا کوئی نہیں ہے عقیدہ یہ اپنا بصدق و یقین تجھ سا کوئی نہیں تجھ سا کوئی نہیں اے رسول امی خاتم المرسلی تجھ سا کوئی نہیں تجھ سا کوئی نہیں ہے عقیدہ یہ اپنا بس صدق و یقین تجھ سا کوئی نہیں تجھ سا کوئی نہیں اے رسول امی خاتم المرسلین بزم کونین پہلے سجائی گئی پھر تیری ذات منظر پہ لائی گئی سید الاولی سید الآخری تجھ سا کوئی نہیں تجھ سا کوئی نہیں سید الاولی سید الآخری
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Modern and Modest. And today we have Aishah Samji, who comes up with a modern and modest wardrobe that she has to offer our Muslimas, young and old, or even just, I would say, any woman.
Anyone.
Not even, not necessarily a Muslimah.
Yes.
So Aishah, before our ad break, we chatted about how important it is to keep up with the latest fashion, be it color, be it style. Women want to look stylish, but at the same time, they want to wear things that are current. Nobody wants to wear something that's dated. So what does it take to keep up to what's trending at the moment? And well, I wouldn't say it's challenging now because we know modest wear is trending, but how do you put that together to be able to suit our South African women?
Okay, very important you said suit South African women. As you know, South Africa has a very hot climate when we have our summer. So the first thing you look at is your seasons. You look at how hot or cold. And we have a very a cold winter in South Africa, in Johannesburg and so on. So I first look at fabrics. I have to outsource fabrics that are thin and cool for summer, and the thicker, more warmer fabrics like velvets for winter. So that's where we look at fabrics. And then we look at color. We look at colors of the season. Most of our inspiration comes from Europe, but I was in UAE as well, where the Muslimah tend to be our fashion, what do you call it? Where we follow them in all their color and their trends, because that's where Islamic fashion most of the time and Turkey start off. So we try and put all that together, and we try and make garments that will suit our women for that season. So yeah.
So there has to be quite a bit of prep and
Yes.
planning, because remember, when you are planning a range for a season,
Yes.
surely you have to plan that
Oh,
way before.
season before. So basically, if I'm in summer now, in winter I will be preparing for summer. If I'm in summer, I'll be preparing for winter and autumn and so on. So you got to be one season ahead of the fashion. So that takes a lot of time.
So let's chat about fabric. I think it's
Yeah.
very important to have the right type of fabric. Do you?
Yes.
We know that your brand is pretty much a South African brand.
Yes.
With regards to the design, the cut, the manufacturing side of it. But when it comes to your fabric, do you source this locally? Do you import fabrics to make up these garments?
I do source them locally for now, but inshallah, as time goes by, I will have to import my own fabric. So I look at South African fabric sources, and also, as you mentioned, my garments are locally manufactured. So like now in summer, we did very well with the fabric called Zara or Amani satin. So it's a very thin, cool, flowy fabric. And what we did, we made long tops in them and we made throws. So if you wear like a basic A-line abaya, you just put on a cool throw that just adds that lift, that color and that style. And I think women, when they wear color, they feel more feminine, more good, more, they just feel good about themselves. I think dressing is a very important part of a woman's life, because it makes her more of a, her self-esteem is lifted. She feels comfortable, she feels good. So it's quite important, yeah.
Made that garment sound so elegant. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what it's all about. So we chatted about you using local fabric, which I
Yes.
think would be great, knowing that our heat and the summers are very warm and
Yes.
winters are very cold. So obviously the fabric would be suitable to our climate. Let's speak about design. We know that if we look at our sisters in the UAE, the design's different, the body shape is different. We find that these garments are very big or very baggy and so forth. So how do you draw inspiration from them, and how do you then make it work for us here?
Okay, we have a size chart that we follow. Our build is a certain, like South African, like in inches, 52, 54, 56. So when we make a pattern, we try and make it to suit our woman. So basically every country has their own style, their own built of woman. We have to accommodate the woman. So in that way, we as well, we have a certain guide, I should say, that we follow. And we've now started accommodating oversized ladies. So in our A-line abayas, we used to make till 2XL. Now we're making 3XL, 4XL, and we're going more up. Okay. So you have to accommodate people that are in your community, in your country. And that's what we have to do that. We adapt our different styles, the colors, everything from, we just extract from different countries, and we try and accommodate our women with that in mind.
Okay. So when it comes to your garments, do you match up the hijab or the turban? Do you offer that where you don't have to now go and look for a headscarf to match that garment, because it obviously just completes the whole look that you're trying to create?
Yes. We do make turbans. We've made turbans, we've made chiffon scarves that are cool and that drape well. We've made the pin-free scarves, which a lot of women are comfortable with.
Right. So after the ad break, we'll be chatting more to Aishah Samji from the Doha Collection. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Modern and Modest. And with us we have Aishah Samji from the Doha Collection, a young, vibrant, ambitious female entrepreneur that's been in this business now for 20 years, alhamdulillah, and she's only been growing. And we know that this brand has been around whether it's in KZN or whether it's in Gauteng, people know the brand. So Aishah, you've taken a very bold step in taking this idea and stepping into manufacturing, especially being a female. Usually when we think about making garments, we think of a fashion designer or a dressmaker that would do something from home. But you've had this mindset 20 years back and you went straight into manufacturing. Tell us what it takes, and if our young minds are out there, what advice can you give them into taking the bold step you've just...
I've always been an ambitious person, never sitting, never procrastinating. I think the biggest challenge people have is they procrastinate a lot. They think about it too much and they do little. So with me, I'm on the go, always having my mind to think and go beyond the extra mile. So when I first started off, I said, you know, I'm starting off from my little garage, and that's where I started off, with just 1 or 2 staff. And I think in just a matter of a year, my business had grown from there. I had to get a premises, I had to employ more staff, and alhamdulillah, it's all a mindset. And I would say to our youngsters out there, whoever is into the designing, clothing, fashion field, or whatever field, even if it's not clothing, whatever you do, make sure you have, first of all, a passion for it, because if you don't have passion, you're not going to have drive and you're not going to get anywhere. So passion is a very important part of it. You got to love what you do and always just move forward and never take a step back and think about, will I be able to make it? When you start questioning, you don't get anywhere. Always when you think about the people who have achieved so much in their lives, who have become such successful people, there's not a person who could say that they did not take a risk. A risk is something that you have to take in order to see whether you can make it. And that's what I did. I said, even if I fail, I will get up and I will move again. And as women, we need to empower one another. We need to be there as sisters, not be in competition with one another. So when I see another young Muslimah, or even an elderly Muslimah that starts off a business in clothing, or even my competitor, I make dua for them and I say, alhamdulillah, you know what? You are doing something for yourself. It does not mean you have to shirk your responsibilities as a mother or as a wife. You still maintain that. And I think that's the gift from Allah, that He's given us this opportunity to multitask, to be able to be a mother, a sister, a daughter, a wife, all in one. So that is why when we want to take something into our life, or when we want to achieve something, never ever sit back and think about and procrastinate. Just go for it. And you will see how far you can go.
So I think the message we need to get out there is we need to believe in ourselves.
Yes.
And if you have that faith and that belief,
Yes.
you're willing to take the risk, and that risk should not set you back. If it doesn't
Yes.
work, you've got to pick yourself up. And I guess
Yes.
it makes you a stronger version of yourself.
Yes.
And just allows you to be out there and grow. You can
Yes.
only grow from that. But Aishah, you mentioned before our ad break that you delegate, which means that you obviously have a very supportive team that you work with. And it's rather unusual coming from a woman that says I delegate, because with women, I think it's something we just have in us where we want to do everything ourselves.
Yes.
And it's not always possible when you want to grow into a successful business. So talk to us about your team. How many people work with you, and how do you get past this where I want to take everything on myself?
Okay. When you start off small. But when your business does take off, you need more time to concentrate on growing your business. And at that stage, when my business was growing, I had to employ more and more staff. But my business, I think I would say, started off with my agents. When I first started off my company, I had agents all over the country. At the moment, I think I'm sitting on like over 60 agents that sell Doha, alhamdulillah. And that's how Doha got its name out there, is through my agents. And I have staff that work for me here in Durban as well. And I just delegate to them, and then they do all the work, and I just do the manufacturing side. So when you put your mind to something and you start off small, everybody has to start off small. But as soon as you start growing, make sure you make space for other people to take over some of your responsibilities so you can concentrate on growing your business. In that way, it leads to much more success.
Well, alhamdulillah, you haven't just grown your brand. Having 60 agents,
Yes.
you're also creating opportunity for those individuals, and you're empowering.
Yes.
Be it male or female, you are creating opportunities for people, which alhamdulillah is fantastic.
That's an excellent point. I was just going to add on and tell you that, you know what, by me giving an opportunity to these people, a lot of them have come back and said to me, you know what, since we're working with you for this 5 years, alhamdulillah, it has changed my life. I've been on holidays. I've been able to afford the things I couldn't afford before. And it's a self-accomplishment. And I think, you know what, this is not from me, it's from Allah. And although I'm the one making the garments, supplying them, everything is from Allah. So when I see that and I see how happy they are in selling Doha, shukr alhamdulillah, the agents have, it has really, been a benefit to them as well.
Alhamdulillah, so it gives them a means of independence,
Yes.
I would think. And also, it's something you can start up from home. So if you're an agent, I'm sure you don't have to have the capital expenditure of opening up a store and the setup
Yes.
and so forth. It's something you can work from your home, in the comfort
Yes.
of your home, and still be able to
You know,
earn,
I mean, this business is so diverse. You can either go two ways. You can become a retailer or a manufacturer. And on the retail side, that's where my agents just buy from me, and then they sell it in their areas, in their towns. And then you have those, which I like to talk to and tell those ladies out there who've become designers, who've become, stylists, whatever you have become, you can achieve so much more. You can actually go and open up your own factory. You can actually start manufacturing, do something locally. And in that way, you are giving many, many other people opportunity in South Africa. You create a lot of jobs. And from there, you'll just see how it will just spiral and how your life will just take off. You just have to take that step. That's it, yeah.
So we know Doha is all around the country. The name's
Alhamdulillah.
been around. Alhamdulillah. What plans do you have for your brand going forward? Is it something you'd like to eventually have would you like some your brand growing in an international way? Do you want to be able to get Doha out of SA so people know about
Yes.
the brand? So when do you see this happening, and what are your plans?
That's a brilliant question. Alhamdulillah, it's taken off very well in South Africa, and I see women from overseas as well. When I was in Umrah recently, and somebody came up to me and I was wearing a throne, they said, "This is so pretty, where you got it from?" Now, I made it, so I just said, Alhamdulillah, it's from South Africa. And I realized there were many people from all walks of life in all parts of the world that would actually wear the garments that we make. And if our price is so affordable to us South Africans, with our currency being so low, it's much more affordable to them. So we do want to take it further. We've had agents in Mauritius. We do have agents going up to Maputo. So it is expanding. It is going further and further. And that's an opportunity for us as South African women to get out there and make a stand in life, going further.
Be brand recognition in a global
Yes. And how much do we hear of South African brands that are going global? It's normally the other way around, where it's overseas European brands or UAE brands. A lot of Turkish stuff comes into the country, but our stuff does not go out. So we're turning the tables now. We're making it the other way
And I
around.
think it's also nice for people in other countries to be able to wear something South African, because
Yes.
we do have a different look, feel, and style.
Yes,
It would
why
make them
not?
feel proud knowing they
Definitely.
wearing something from South
Yes, no.
So Aishah, we'll take a quick ad break, and I'm very interested in looking at what you brought on that rail that you have so beautifully displayed. So we could share with our viewers what the Doha collection is all about and what they can expect from you.
Okay.
So after the break, we'll be viewing the range that Aishah Samji has brought to share. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Modern and Modest. And with us today we have Aishah Samji from Doha Modest Wear. So Aishah, I can't wait to have a look at what you brought. The colors look so beautiful, so summery now that it's so warm here in Durban.
Yes.
But before we get there, we discussed how you have to plan a whole season ahead of time. And we've got winter on our doorstep, and then before winter we've got Eid, of course.
Yes.
And I know that you're into manufacturing in a big way, but I'm sure you, at the back of your mind, you have to know that I don't know if this is women all around the world or whether it's just South African women, but we don't want every other person wearing the same garment. So do you, let's talk about firstly how many designs you plan per season, and how many garments do you make per design? Because our women don't want to walk into the mall and have two other women wearing the same garment.
Yes. Well, you know, with our women, we have so many agents around the country that we split it such that you're not going to find many people in your town that are wearing the same garment. Obviously, yes, it's a mind thought. We have to think, I cannot make 1,000 of something or even 500, and I don't make that much. Before the ladies get worried, I make so many garments, I'll find a woman walking down the road with the same thing. We make, I would say, you know, 200-300 garments, and then from there it's split across the country. Okay. So it's different than just selling it in Durban. You know, it's not confined to one space. So we make about, I would say, 4 to 5 styles per month. So in a season, we're looking at maybe a more fancy, more exclusive range, and we try and make less of it, but more expensive also, because people want to wear something different, more unique, more exclusive. So throughout the year, we make to suit the season, obviously. And in summer, like in December, we made some kaftan throws. We made something with chiffon where you could wear to the beach. So we also accommodate whether you're on holiday or it's something towards Hajj. In fact, I was just planning, I said Hajj is coming up, and we need to make some innerwear for people, you know, with zips to put their money in, or pants that are cool and comfy when they're doing their 5 days of Hajj or something. You've got to accommodate people throughout the year. Whatever it is, Eid al-Adha, when that Eid comes up, we start doing the overalls for kiddies. So we try and accommodate everybody at some time of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, we chatted about how the designs get split all over the country. Now, even though we all are South African women and we all dress in a certain way, but every region does have a different trend or a different style.
Definitely.
So we find that our ladies from Gauteng dress very differently to KZN, and then obviously ladies in the Cape dress very differently.
Yes.
Do you find that when you're planning your design, you have to obviously keep that in mind?
Oh, yes.
Or we need to be able to split the range that way?
We don't split the range in a way where only certain garments go to Cape or only certain garments go to Gauteng. I know the ladies in Gauteng are very much more modern, stylish, and I accommodate them, and the Durban women as well. But I try and make one garment to suit everybody. So if I make something, I know there will be women in different regions of South Africa that will wear it. So it's very versatile. It's something that, you know, anybody can wear it. Yeah.
Okay, Aishah, so with Ramadan on our doorstep, and we know we have Eid pretty soon, what type of design and color could our ladies look out for? Have you already started, I would presume you have already started thinking of ideas and colors that you'd like to put together?
Yes, we had to start at the beginning of the year and prepare for our Eid range, as well as Ramadan. There are women that would like to give Ramadan gifts, so then they'd like something like a burqa or a little burki. And we have to accommodate all that. So we would start, I would say, from next month, just releasing a bit for Ramadan itself. And then when we enter Ramadan, we will go into our Eid range. And when my Eid range consists of things that are more exclusive, more extravagant for ladies than your usual. So we'd include things like trims, or we'll put a little bit of lace, more fancier fabric, more stunning abayas in terms of styling and so on.
Okay, and what about a kiddies Eid range? Would you be releasing a kiddies range as well?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I did start with a kiddies abaya range, and that took off very well because the amount of women that came looking in for abayas, and they were so thrilled that they could finally find something for their daughters as in terms of abayas, and they've asked whether we could do outfits for them as well. So we will be looking at that. And I always tell people, you are my best critic. So if you tell me, this is what you should do or this is what you shouldn't, it helps me as well as you and everybody else. So if you have something that you would like to contribute, yes, it helps the business, but it helps everybody else out there as well. So yeah.
Aishah, I'm quite eager to have a look at what you've brought to share with our viewers today. So we'll hop over to your stand and then you can maybe talk us through the colors, the fabrics and the design.
Sure.
Okay, Aishah, I see you've got quite a few plain colors. I would presume these would be your everyday garments.
Yes.
So maybe talk us through what you had in mind when you designed a garment like this.
Okay, this is our basic A-line abaya. It's made from a very good, excellent quality Korean bonbon. It's very cool and silky. It has a lovely fit. We've perfected the fit. From last year, we've been just making thousands of them in different colors because it's something that people want to wear with a throw over, or even I've seen women wearing it outside like that. I mean, walking on the road.
So this is something you can wear as an
it's
inner
so
dress
versatile.
In the beach. You can use
Yes.
it on its own as well. As
Correct.
So I suppose
And the
with Ramadan,
colors, yes.
This would be nice to
Yes.
change your scarves and you could have a plain, comfortable
Exactly. Yeah, like a printed cotton scarf. You can just match it up, dress it up with some shoes, and we have such a variety of colors. We just keep making new colors all the time.
Okay, and then these feel more, I would think, for winter.
For winter.
So,
This was like our block abaya. We've put here in 3 different contrasting fabrics. So what I've done is I've put velvet, I've put like a linen, and I've put like a tweed. From last year, tweed was trending quite a bit. Like even the abaya that I'm wearing now, and I got the matching shoes, was a tweed fabric. So I've taken that concept and I've made it into a block abaya with different colors and textures.
so your range of the tweeds, can we have a look at what you've put together here? I see there is
Yes.
blue as well. Okay, so you've obviously worked with quite a few different options for tweed that you
Yes.
put together. Which is
Some
nice.
people like black on black and some
Yeah.
people like to play with colors. So we try and accommodate both people.
So do these garments come with the matching hijab as well?
We don't make the scarves. Sometimes we do, but most of the time you have to buy a scarf to match.
So Aishah, we know this design has been in and around the stores, I would think locally,
Chains and-
internationally.
yes.
So talk to us more about this design. It is quite a busy fabric. So I see you've chosen to put it on the sleeves. Is this the only design you have? Have you played around more with the fabric?
Yes, in this particular one, I've made it just in this one design. The chains have been trending from last year. It's very, very in style at the moment. And what I've done is I made it for summer because it's a cool, if you feel this, it's a cool satin fabric, Zara satin. So I put it just on the sleeves, and if you see, it just peeps out on the side as well. So the whole entire abaya is black, and you just have a splash of color and design.
So alhamdulillah, we can definitely notice that in your range of abayas, you are keeping with what's trending at the moment.
Yes.
You know, we've seen the chains in the stores
Yes.
and in the boutiques, and they look amazing. So you tend to feel trendy, like you've mentioned, modern fashion, modern and modest, so you don't feel
Yes.
like you out of fashion or wearing something outdated. So Aishah, if our viewers want to get in touch with you, how can we reach you? Are you on social media?
Yes, we are. We are on Instagram as Doha Collection. We are on Facebook also, Doha Collection. Or you can contact me, Aishah Simji, on 084 366 2786. And we do have a store in Overport, Durban, 230 West Road. That's in Overport.
So Aishah, just before we leave you, what message could you share with our viewers just to inspire them? You come with so much of inspiration, so maybe you can share something with our viewers today.
I've told you a bit of my life. Everything is a battle in life. When you start off, you take walking steps, and thereafter you start learning to crawl and run. Don't ever give up. Don't procrastinate, and don't just sit down and think whether I will be able to do that or not. Just get up and move. Be positive, and inshallah you will see your life grow endlessly.
Alhamdulillah. Well, Aishah, shukran for availing yourself to share your story and your journey with our viewers. And inshallah, I wish you all of the success with your brand, and hopefully we'll be reaching international.
Inshallah. Ameen.
So shukran for joining in, and I'm sure you enjoyed our show today. And Aishah Simji has definitely been an inspiration to myself and all of you. And from myself, until next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.